Test. Good.
Aaron. Awesome.
That was the only question that was going to happen. I'm confused now. Johnny, right?
And the last name is Pigg?
Pigg, yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Well, I know if there was like a special like pronunciation, like you know.
Pigg actually is the Swedish way of saying it because it's a Swedish word.
You Americanized it.
There we go.
We did.
Your grandfather.
Unfortunately, we did. We should have kept it with Pigg.
Hey, too late.
I wouldn't have. Well, then maybe I wouldn't have.
You can always change it. You can always change it whenever you want, right?
I could.
Keep the same spelling.
My dad is
but
still alive. I feel like since he lasted this long with the last name, I might as well try it.
You gotta carry it on.
just pronounce it different. That's all.
I convinced my teachers my senior year is Pigg. in high school.
Right.
Are we record? Is this on?
We're recording.
Oh, we
it's
are
like Target. Like I go to Target.
Exactly.
Same thing, right?
Well, then my brother got the same teachers when he was a senior, and he came back from school. He's like, "Why are they calling me Matthew Pigg?"
Wow.
Just say that you're French, Matthew.
There you go.
But you're in comedy, so it's like that's the last name to have.
We're both in comedy, so obviously there's something with the last name that really puts you in that whole world.
I can see it in headlines. You flashing lights. That'd be sweet, man. Right?
Ryan Pigg, 2 G's.
There it is. That's the way it
But we
is.
haven't started yet, right?
we already started.
Don't you usually do the intro?
No, we just decided to skip the intro.
Yeah, we should actually
This is like
start
a fun behind
We'll
the
just
scenes
kind of like
thing.
loosen it up a little bit.
Okay, cool.
All right.
I'm loose.
All right. Hey. All right, guys. Welcome to Surviving Hollywood. I'm Johnny Ray Diaz.
Hey, I'm Austin Arnold.
Hey, I'm Aaron Arnold.
Just kidding.
Whoa. Hey, we got a special guest here today. We got executive producer of Historical Roasts coming on Netflix, new series, Ryan Pigg, 2 G's, guys, 2 G's, and a comedian too, right?
That's right. All aspects of comedy.
Whoa, dude.
He's a double G. He's a OG. He's a
This is gonna be a new rap verse.
G man. That's it.
You know why I'm excited
we're
to
done.
interview you, Ryan? You are our very first guest.
Ever. This
That-
is the first episode.
This is the first
Wow,
podcast.
I'm honored.
That
Just
we
kidding.
usually one of us knows the guest. You were a referral.
I'm a complete stranger.
Mm-hmm.
You guys were so scared when you opened the door and saw me. You're like,
Excited.
Ryan, right? And I almost was like, no, I'm a murderer.
You said,
Luckily,
you
you
said
look just like us. So
exactly.
Come on in.
But I guess historical roast. But besides that, how would our audience know you?
Yeah.
How would they know me?
Or maybe through that. Or what is that?
Well, I do. So I've been doing historical roast for 4 years on stage. So we started as a live show. They might know me through that.
So
Or I also do.
You're a senior this year.
I am a senior. This is my 4th and final year of comedy.
Graduated.
I graduate to drama.
Nice.
Finally, I'm there.
Take it in.
We also do fictional roast. So that's like a different version. After we
Like
started
a pretend roast?
Exactly. No. So for historical roast, it's all historical figures that are being roasted. And for fictional roast, it's all like we did Disney villains, we did Back to the Future characters.
Nice.
Didn't College Humor start that back in the day with their Mario roast?
Maybe I have not heard about a Mario roast.
They didn't invent
Mario
the roast.
Kart
though.
roast.
I thought they invented roasts. College Humor
College, yeah.
invented a roast in 2012.
talking
And
about
then
a
Dean
campfire,
Martin
right?
flew to the time travel.
But Netflix chose to only pick up one, the historical roast.
They chose historical. We had been doing that longer. That is the older sibling of the two.
Nice.
Gotcha.
And they already had that hit historical Drunk History.
Right.
That's Comedy
Drunk is-
Central.
Historical drunk history.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Competing brands, dude.
So, but where did it start though? Where were you guys performing it?
We so it was me and my co-creator and co-host Eddie Firth. We were both interns at Nerd Melt, which is it used to be connected to Meltdown Comics. It was closed about a year ago, and it was like a hub for comedians to go and just do crazy shows and do fun shows. So me and this guy were interning there for free, and we were like one day like smoking and just like, what would you see on this stage? What's something that we could conceive of? He asked me, and I was like, I don't know, there's no roasts, but there's no one we could roast that could bring in an audience.
Yeah.
They'd have to be
Right.
like famous, so we'd have to
Right.
do like famous people, and then we came up with famous people from history. They're all dead. We don't need to have them here. They don't need to hear about it because they're dead. We can't get sued.
They can't be offended. They're not even here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Maybe their ancestors or their descendants are, but they don't care.
Yeah.
So we started at the Annex Center. It was like this small little kind of room called the Nerdist School. And it was like a small stage. You could probably fit about 20 to 30 people in the audience. We sold out pretty much every show for 5 months straight.
Wow.
And then we got asked to go to Nerd Melt, which as interns, that was like a dream, because that's like there's no good metaphor for it besides it was a dream.
Yeah.
Now,
Because
were
like
you
we
guys,
saw these big names going on stage there all
Right.
the time, like Neil Brennan, Robin Williams. You see like everyone go up.
yeah,
Johnny Neil Brennan.
I have heard. Yeah.
No, Brennan. Yeah.
I was gonna ask though, were you guys doing the actual roasts, or were you just the creators of the show, or like how did that work?
We both had experience in comedy, so we discussed it and we were like, let's be the hosts. And so we decided to be the hosts as ourselves. So we're just normal people. And then it started as like comedians roasting like Abraham Lincoln. And then the guest roaster after the comedians go up would be John Wilkes Booth. Or someone who's connected. So for Albert Einstein, it was Stephen Hawking that roasted him after all these comedians.
And somebody played Abraham Lincoln.
So yeah, and these comedians play
I need
these
this
characters
roast
too.
like I need a hole in the head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of him and JFK had a lot of hole in the head jokes.
Too soon?
Never too soon.
late.
Too late.
And
That's the thing about history.
did Kumail or Jonah Ray, did they see you from the back when you were getting these sold out shows, and did they come up to you and say anything?
Not from my personal experiences. They knew our producer. Jonah came to a few shows. He's a really nice guy. I did not ask Kumail for his opinion or anything. Yeah, I don't know if he like showed up one. Maybe he did. But yeah, Jeff Ross actually heard about our show before we even did it, because we had booked this one comedian, Jamar Neighbors, very funny. He was on our first ever roast. It was Lincoln, and he tweeted about it, and Jeff Ross liked it. So we're like, whoa, that's a good sign. And then like years later, now he's hosting the Netflix version of our show.
If it has roast in the title,
Jeff Ross
If it's got
always
roast in
knows.
it, yeah.
It's got to be involved.
Yeah, he's also friends with Jamar, but yeah,
nice.
there was kind of a connection there, and then eventually he got connected after a few years.
we actually just saw Jeff Ross perform last night.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what was the show?
It was a charity event.
Yeah,
That's right.
He roasted homeless people.
Yeah, it was for homeless people.
Good.
And he killed.
Just kidding.
He was great.
He should start roasting. That guy's good at it.
Yeah. Dude, that's a huge getting Jeff Ross to sign on to your project.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's the guy you want when you're roasting. If you're doing something roast-wise without Jeff, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
So we were really lucky. We were really happy.
Did you have to pitch to him? Like, he showed interest, but did you have to sit down in a room?
No.
He just signed on.
He knows comedy. He knows what works. And he was kind of like asked to be part of the show, to be the host in some way. And he was like, okay, I'll go see their show. Maybe I'll, be able to figure out what to do with it. And he came, and he just really loved what we were doing already.
Yeah.
And he had nothing but great things to say. Very constructive person. Like, he can build like a person, like building a building. He can build a show really well. Like, seeing him in the room working when we finally sat down and went to the writer's room, it was amazing. So he knows what's good.
Like,
so
what
he
do you
didn't
mean?
really need to be pitched. Like, he
What did he fix? Or
he didn't really necessarily fix everything, but he had really good ideas that could,
Like, improve the show.
very much so improve the show.
How about a punchline?
Punchline. He had a punchline. Finally, we were looking for it. but it's amazing because he saw that it's really great seeing all these comedians get into their own version of these characters. So he liked that.
Yeah.
He you'll see it on Netflix, but he's added some things like there's like an interrupt every show. You'll see something, some new person or something else. I don't want to give too much away since it's Netflix.
Tell us, nobody's listening anyway. We have
We'll
no
keep it a
subscribers.
not yet.
Oh, just kidding.
Hopefully we have
Besides
Jeff
the
now.
Thousands.
And when's the premiere?
I can tell you that. I wasn't able to yesterday, but luckily today I can tell you now.
Sweet.
It was Netflix posted something about it.
Exclusive.
May 27th. It'll be.
That's
Oh, it's
around
around
when
the
this is
corner.
airing. That's around.
That's
Yeah.
perfect then. I can tell you anything now.
Nice.
So-
And how many episodes did you guys do? Or how
We did
that-
6 episodes.
Okay.
So every episode is a different historical figure.
Can you tell us which one's episode 1?
Episode 1,
I did see some
I
on
don't know if I
IMDb.
can, actually.
I saw some on IMDb though.
You
Unless
saw-
they're not accurate.
I can tell you which one you probably saw on IMDb.
There was like Freddie Mercury,
Oh,
Muhammad Ali. Are all those like fake ones?
I can
that-
tell you who we're roasting. I just don't know if I can tell you
Oh,
who's playing
the
them.
character.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I can tell you.
I think Remy Malek plays him.
It's Nikki Glazer this time.
Nikki Glazer is playing Kurt Cobain
Okay.
in the Freddie Mercury roast.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. She announced that on Conan, and then Fred Willard's playing God in one of the episodes.
Nice.
I can
Wow.
tell you.
He's got
I
the
can tell you
voice.
that for sure. Yeah.
Got the voice.
He was very funny.
What's in Fred Willard's rider, if I may ask?
Okay.
What's in his
What's in his rider? The yellow
What's he asked
Skittles?
for?
What does he require before he comes onto set? If
Uh,
anything.
He brought some friends and family. I don't think he needed anything but
Gatorade.
Gatorade. He was obsessed with Gatorade. How'd you know?
Season pro.
It's on his Wikipedia. I
I can
guess.
tell by the way he sweats.
He is. He is a mean drunk. No, when he
Gatorade.
gets his Gatorade.
There it is.
No, he's a really great guy. He didn't require anything necessarily, rather than it be funny. He would have left if it wasn't funny.
That's really cool. So
Tough.
just real quick, I actually was kind of curious. Like, so when Jeff Ross got involved, what was that process like? You approaching Netflix? Was it because like, okay, he's interested in now that he's kind of sort of attached to it, that you guys had a little cachet?
Oh yeah.
Or was it like you guys went ahead without him? Like, what was the process there for that?
Yeah, we didn't really get. We had been pitching already for a couple years, so
Who were you guys pitching to?
we were pitched everyone. Anywhere between like CISO and Comedy Central. We pitched to everyone.
I think
History.
You got the best.
You could have saved.
Yeah,
CISO.
I
You
mean-
could have saved CISO.
History Channel, and I was working on another show for a little bit, and History Channel said the same thing to us that they said when we first started doing historical roasts, pitching them. They were like, "It's not our demographic. We are not, these are
We need more
half-dead Fox News viewers who are just waiting, like just reliving the glory years through History Channel."
Yeah.
That's what they said?
No.
Okay. I was like, wow, this is so brutally honest.
But we sat down at a bar, they were smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
Listen, kid, you don't want to go down this alley.
Look at me. Look at me.
We've always done it this way. But how do you get those meetings like, if you don't have any credit? Like at the very beginning, is that a cold call?
We had a guy. We never cold called. We always knew.
Just showed up.
Yeah, we knew. We actually knew. So we found out where their kids went to preschool.
Nice.
No, they're.
That's Hollywood.
It was this really cool guy who is now a co-EP because he stayed with us for so long. About a year into our show, he was like, "This should be on TV, and I can help you." He's a really great guy. He pitched it, and I helped him like make the reel and everything to pitch. So he went out and did the thing, and kind of just pitched to people he like connections he had. And after about a year, we're like, we've exhausted our resources. Let's see if we can do some more. He eventually connected us to OBB, which is One Big Ball Entertainment, and they're the ones that produced it for Netflix. So we were with them. They started pitching. And they're like, we need someone like Jeff Ross.
Someone attached to.
Exactly, yeah.
yeah.
So it was like a lot of like, we get to one part of the ladder, and then we go up one, and then we go up one. So it kind of took some patience, but once Jeff was on board,
You got the best.
Yeah.
you can't
can't,
stop Jeff.
right,
When
right.
you got Jeff, you can't stop him from, but still history was like, it's not our demographic.
Right.
Yeah, which
right.
is fair.
Yeah.
Good thing you didn't settle for Anthony Jeselnik, right?
Yeah. Well, he would have been great too,
just kidding.
but
I was gonna say
Jeff,
that would've
Jeff
been
is
fine.
the roast master general.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Amy Schumer would have been a third, right?
Let's list them all,
They're the
dude.
top three.
You
Yeah.
guys just listen to all these top comedians. Cool.
How was Netflix with the note process? Were they pretty hands off, or did they?
they had some notes. Nothing devastating though.
Did they tell you to take jokes out?
They told us to revise jokes.
To make them funnier or to make them more appropriate?
Not even like appropriate, just in case. Like, you don't need to say this, so why would you?
So those jokes aren't in it. You took them out.
Not really. They're in there in some form. I mean, some of them we just had to edit for time, honestly. Like if there's something that like
It's
if
more
you,
in the editing
if
process.
you run into the writers and they're like, oh yeah, I wrote this really good joke, but it's not in the final cut. It's not because it's like inappropriate necessarily. It's probably just cut for time or cut for another reason.
Cut for time though on Netflix.
How long is each episode?
Each episode is going to be about 29 minutes. It looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did they ever give you a note that you fought for? It's something that you believed in?
We need the rape joke.
No, the writers are great. They're all stand-up comedians. A lot of them you might know from Roast Battle.
Oh wait.
I was looking up IMDb and I definitely knew the names. I forget them now.
Yeah.
I know a non-famous guy who does roast battle.
Who's
We all do. Do you know Zane Pond?
Does he
I
really
remember
do
he was
that?
he was prepping for
He's
that
done
one.
it before.
I remember he said that.
I mean, it sounds familiar.
He's a fat gay guy.
You don't have to placate us, dude, if you don't know.
Can you do an impression of
Like
him?
I said, he's not famous. Just
Whoa.
imagine a fat gay guy, and then you'd probably know.
He's
yeah.
he's one of the EPs.
I only know one, so yeah, a lot of the roast battle people are like, they're the funniest people, some of the funniest people I know in Hollywood, and they will defend a joke if it's fun. And Jeff's the same. Like Jeff's like, writers. Our head writer Frank was like, if it's a good joke, I'll defend it.
Yeah.
If there's no reason to take it out, there's no reason to take it out.
Frank's Sebastiano?
That's right.
Dude,
Frank Sebastiano?
he's seasoned, man.
Yeah.
He is one of the pros.
Again, like I don't know if we could have done the show without him too. Him and Jeff like were big driving force.
So
like,
Jeff brought
that's
him
cool.
on, or he was already there?
he was brought on. And it's because of the connection with Jeff.
What's
And
Frank Sebastiano done? Has he worked with like Norm Macdonald?
Beer League. He was in Beer League.
He's been doing things for, I believe, more than 2 decades at this point in comedy. And so were a lot of the other writers we had on the show. They've been doing roasts with Jeff for years.
You know this is going to be a hit.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
They did The Burn. They did. They've doing Comedy Central roasts. They're pros. So we mixed them with the roast battle comedians, and it was a fucking fest. It was hilarious being in that room.
A fucking
Nice.
I
fest.
can't imagine.
Nice.
They were just like ripping on dead people. Thomas Jefferson, that son of a bitch.
Nobody never liked him.
No, yeah.
If you can, without giving out too much, 'cause you probably can't say too many things about it.
Or
Like,
just give out whatever you want to say.
Sure,
yeah.
why not?
Also, I don't know what they've changed in the last few months, so maybe they're
Gotcha.
doing some stuff behind the curtain that I don't know. So maybe it's not 29 minutes an episode. Maybe it's
So-
like fucking 40 minutes an episode.
will
at
it be
this
like
point.
kind of a surprise to you when you see it then? Because I feel like you
Some of it-
would be
yeah.
watching a lot of it too, as it's
Some of it will be a surprise. Eddie and this is coming out around the time the show comes out. I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
Me and Eddie have a cameo in it. Me and my co-host have a cameo in.
okay. I was gonna ask you if you guys are in it.
As was in your
yeah.
contract.
As it was in, it was
Good.
definitely not in it. We were like,
Okay.
if you can make it, we will work for free.
Please, guys, please.
We were Confederate soldiers in the Abraham Lincoln roast.
Ooh, the wrong side of history. huh?
Yeah, we are on the wrong side. We were playing assholes. It was
Wow.
great. So I don't know if they left us in or not at this point.
All right. So then actually every episode is kind of actually creating a whole scene of what's happening then.
So the whole
Because I was wondering if it's
Yes.
going to be like just a person sitting there just being roasted. Like obviously it's got to be more than that.
I'll give you the whole setup. We
Okay.
got it's 3 roasters, and the
Okay.
roastee, let's say it's Abraham Lincoln, will sit on a throne, and the 3 people that are connected to him will be John Wilkes Booth, his wife Mary Todd, and Harriet Tubman.
Funny.
Okay.
Very fun, actually.
And that's the episode. We got it.
It's like a hard thing to pitch if you don't know actually
Right.
how funny it can be.
That is hilarious.
I watched your Ken Bone.
Oh, the Ken
saw
Bone.
that.
We roasted. Most of the time, we roast only dead people, only historical dead people.
But you're a huge Ken Bone fan.
I'm a big Ken Bone fan. Bone Zone 2020.
Who's he voting for this time around?
Yeah. So we did a political roast. It was just like a special thing, and it was not a great time to do it because it was right before the last debate of 2016.
Or the perfect time.
We thought it was the perfect time. We definitely did. The audience acted like we were just like up there masturbating in front of them. No, they were good. They were like iffy on certain things. It was funny because they loved Trump, and
In Los Angeles?
let me
Just like
rephrase
we
that.
all do,
They
too, here.
loved laughing at Trump, but they did not enjoy laughing at Hillary as much because we had Trump and Hillary up there.
yeah.
So Obama and Bernie were roasters as well, and then
Why do you think people didn't want to laugh at Hillary? She's
think-
fair game, right? She's
I
status quo
think-
politics.
Well, I don't. Yeah, it's hard. I should have just interviewed the audience at that time too.
Got to the
A
answers.
straw poll.
Yeah, figured out like why didn't you not like the certain parts? But they loved Ken Bone. One of my friends, his name's Daniel Ott, played Ken Bone, and it's on YouTube right now. And it's hilarious. And he just he acted in my web series, but besides that, he doesn't act that much or even do stand up. But I was like, I think you'd be really funny as Ken Bone.
Ken
So I got the sweater, I got the mustache.
Yeah.
And we like talked out a few like just small things. We didn't really have anything, like there was no script. And we go up there and it was just like very like natural. Like we just had fun with the audience there. And
I thought it was
Trump.
Ken Bone.
It was actually Ken Bone.
Once you have the sweater, and a general good
And
vibe.
a mustache.
Yeah, you just become his essence.
That's it.
Yeah.
We'd love to get him on the podcast.
Ken Bone.
Nah,
I can
Is he
ask,
available?
I can ask my friend to be Ken Bone.
that's what we love.
Close enough. Nice.
Speaking of your past work, I had a question for you.
Oh, there you go.
Go ahead.
You answered everything correct so far, but
Good.
You're doing really
how do you
well.
feel about sex with Skittles?
Oh, you saw the Skittle sex.
Is that the
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Skittles.
I was just talking about that today.
Yeah.
We were talking about commercials and how weird they are.
For our audience, what is the Skittle sketch?
Yeah.
So actually, this is part of a bigger series. When I was in Chicago and I was just digging around with sketch comedy, we filmed a bunch. We filmed like a series called Mock Commercials, where we're just doing parodies of commercials.
We're very familiar with that over here. Johnny got blackballed from.
Oh,
From
no.
some casting agents.
we were doing a Honda
Helpful
parody,
Honda.
helpful Honda parodies, and didn't fly well.
Oh, we just used their product. We didn't. Oh, actually, a couple times we did some the Mayhem, Allstate Mayhem, I think.
Yeah.
is
Oh
what it
yeah,
is.
okay.
We did that. That was the closest thing to like an actual
See Honda, man,
specific
it's easy to
parody.
target.
Yeah, I actually have some friends that do like have like a Honda band. They're like they look dress up like the helpful Hondas, but they like rock out. It's pretty funny.
Wow.
So we'll wait till Honda gets to them too.
Seems like a fun gimmick for a live show.
I'm
Guys,
just saying you can pair up with the lawyers on them.
Yeah, we'd love that.
guys, we can't mention Honda on this podcast anymore, so this is going to be erased and stricken from the record. Just letting everybody know, we've never mentioned Honda. It's done and over with, please.
But this guy, literally, his agent told him that a casting office told us, we don't want you coming in anymore because of a YouTube video. You
Well, like actually blackball.
No, actually, I remember I went to,
You can say the name.
I went to another.
Those bitches. None of us want to get cast by
Well,
them.
I went to
They're not
another
casting-
audition. For
I
some
would.
reason, I got called into another audition for a Honda Random Act of Helpfulness commercial.
A real one.
So he's
A
going
real
for
one.
Oh.
And I thought this was a mistake because I had already been dropped by my agent, told that I wasn't allowed to audition for them anymore. And I got called for it. I'm like, well, I guess I'll go. And literally when I showed up, the casting director saw me and she's like, hey, Johnny, we can go talk outside real quick. And I was like,
I actually
okay.
hate it when people. So many people in Hollywood are like,
I
"You
was
want to
like-
talk outside real quick?" Why? What?
I'm fine
it's
here.
hot out there.
It's like there's nobody in the waiting room, but okay. And then she was just like, hey, you know what? I think you're really great and everything, but we just can't, I just can't let you audition anymore. Yeah, I just can't. Anything Honda related, you can't have you come in at all anymore.
And you were wearing the blue polo at that time?
No, I mean, well, I know I came in with the fake one, right? I was just like, all right, I get it. I mean, it was just a joke, this and that. And she's just like, yeah, my suggestion is to take all those videos down, because you
Which
want to
we
be able
didn't
to do
do.
that,
Well,
which we did not do.
We made him private for a couple months.
Yeah, for a little bit, but they're back out there. Anyway, but it's not about me; it's about you.
I was just gonna say that fucking sucks. You
It's
should.
yeah, it happens, man.
But also like that shows the research is just typing in the person who's coming in's name and then the whatever product they're about to
Right.
have a commercial for.
And that's what she said. She literally told me there's a department in Honda that all they do is like check to see like what you're associated to and what you're connected to make sure.
Honda, if you're hiring, that sounds like the easiest fucking job in the world. Please, can we cuss on this? I forgot to go.
Fuck
Now
yeah.
we can.
Okay.
Just kidding.
I'm about this close to returning my Honda Civic. This close, unless you book this guy.
Hey,
That shit is economical though. Anyway,
Yeah, we never did a Honda parody. We did. What did we?
you did Axe.
We did Axe. That was my
Yeah.
first one. Not my proudest. What was the one? What's the one where? Oh, State Farm. State Farms were probably the funnest ones to do.
I haven't seen that one.
But I filmed them all with my friends and actually got a job from dicking around with those.
Really?
We just made those web series. I think it was like part of a class actually. They're like, you gotta get partnered on YouTube, and I was like the only person in the class that actually did it because
A class from who?
it was. I went to Columbia College Chicago at the time.
Maybe you've heard of it.
The other Columbia, the one for big old dummies. So I did that, and then the Frequency TV, which is like Columbia's kind of student-run
Network or
network.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like playing on all the TVs, and they're known for being kind of cheesy, I guess. I applied to work with them, and I had been sending in my mock commercial stuff, and they just put them up. And so they're always like running throughout like the college campus. They're like playing, or
Wow.
college buildings. They're just like, playing. And one guy was like, "Why would we hire him? He's just sending us stuff for free." And it's like, it's a waste of money. But then they hired me.
Think if we paid him. Think if we paid him.
And then they hired me, and I immediately created a show called Ass. and they're like, why did we hire
Yeah, I saw like 11 episodes on your YouTube.
there should be 12.
Or
You saw 12 episodes of Ass?
Well, I didn't watch them, but it was just Ass
How much,
episode
how
1.
much Ass did you watch?
Yeah.
I love that. That's,
Got a lot
that
of
title
ass.
is just easy to say.
It's very. It was Art School Security was the long name.
It's funny.
Gotcha.
But it's
That's great.
way better saying the short word. Guy who played Ken Bone's the main character in that.
Okay.
Or main actor.
He'll come back this election season.
Did you see the Ken Bones Ass, or did you?
You know what? It all kind of just blurred.
He was part of the ass.
was
He
one-
was
one
he
big
was
ass
half
in
the
Austin.
ass. He was one
He's
half.
half-assed.
He was one. He was half-assed. I was gonna say he
half-assed.
was one cheek, but half-assed is way better.
Close enough.
And you know what? This, I think, brings up a good question because the majority of our audience, I don't know how many episodes you've seen, but the majority of our audience is.
Well, you were telling us you've seen all of them.
All your episodes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen
And your favorite one was?
more than one. The last one with Jake.
Oh, you did see one.
Oh, that was
I just
All right, cool.
assumed you didn't see any.
Oh, wow, dude.
Hey,
Subscribe here.
more than
And
any of our
here,
other
and
guests.
here.
Nice, dude. The majority of
Did
our
his
audience,
homework.
around the country, around the world, up and comers that are trying to get involved in the business. That's why we're called Surviving Hollywood. And I bet a lot of people are making sketches at their college and would love an end game where they get to executive produce a Netflix show with Jeff Ross.
And it's probably
yeah.
it's probably too late for them. I mean, it's
Too late for them, but for the middle schoolers out there,
Yeah.
besides the basics,
It actually did start at in my high school doing sketches because we had like a great media teacher, which I know some high schoolers or high schools don't even have media.
right.
So if you do,
Some don't have choir, you know.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a big. Didn't really miss out without a choir. But we had a media teacher who was his name is Balzer. He's real cool, and he was just like make funny like Lonely Island type shit. So we made
Nice.
like rap parodies. We made like Batman parodies, and it was just like 2 hours of us just running around our high school making the craziest shit. And people in our school genuinely looked forward to the video announcements per week for the sketches that me and a few other people would make in that class.
I imagine
like
your teacher's name Balzer.
His name was Balzer.
Sounds like
with
a made-up
Z.
name.
I imagine
With a Z.
Balzer's watching this right now, tears streaming down his eye. honey, Pigg, he just mentioned me.
Okay.
He does call me Paget still.
Jeez.
nice callback.
He actually did message me because it's very unclear who's joking on Facebook nowadays. But I was like, hey, Netflix picked up a historical roast. And he messaged me. It's like, Netflix picked up your show? I was like, yeah. He's like, proud of you. And I was like,
Wow.
That's nice.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, whoa.
and then he went out of control and started knocking stuff down.
Take
I'm
it out
sorry.
on us, not
Easy,
the equipment,
easy.
man.
I'm
So much
surprised.
This is a
You
rental,
know what?
right?
Podcast done.
Yeah.
It's done?
No, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
surprised
We
you're
love
still-
having
Start
you.
recording 20 minutes
We
ago.
love having you.
You're still active on Facebook, huh?
I am still, yeah, I know. Well, Instagram's probably what everyone's going to end up moving over to.
Which is owned by Facebook, so they still got it.
Yeah, you denied my friend request, man. What's up with that?
Actually, there's no.
Wait, what are you? What's your name
He's,
on
he's
Facebook?
half Mexican
my
and
name.
half.
That was a good one. All right, let's move on. Anyway.
You know what? If you'll indulge us, we have a couple questions from the audience that
Yes.
we would
You in
love
the
to
front.
more
right.
more
Shoe in the
broad
front.
more broad topics. And if you'll indulge us, we have a few. So one of them
This
was
one's by Jay Ross. He emailed us in.
yeah, Jay Ross.
Wasn't that Jeffrey Ross? Or
Oh, no. He found me.
We told him that a comedy guy was coming, so have the questions in that vein. So question number one is, in your opinion, where's the future of comedy headed? Like it's changed a little bit since the 90s. Where's it headed?
I mean, stand-up and sketch are both going in different directions, I think. Not necessarily opposite, but just like everything's changing in different ways. I think if you look, actually, history has become a lot of part of comedy, has become a big part of different comedy shows. So you got like,
Drunk history.
yeah. Is it the first period? What's that show called?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not familiar with
something period.
no, Lajaro.
Yeah,
Natasha
Natasha
Leggero.
Leggero's on it. It's on Comedy Central.
Another period.
Yeah,
Oh,
another
oh,
period.
oh,
that's
that
what
is
it
a good show. I've
That's
seen
what it
that
is.
one.
I always forget
pretty fun.
the first part of that. There's all sorts of kind of alternative like twists and turns with like different comedy shows. I was actually part of this. There's a stand-up. It's a character show. It's called The Slam, and all these different characters do slam poetry. and it's a competition.
So you gotta be skilled and you gotta be funny and you gotta be good at writing.
You got to be good at a character, and you got to do like it has
A
to
little
just
poetry.
be, as long as it's a funny poem. Who's in charge of Germany? I'm a fucking
Hitler.
Yes, Hitler. No, someone did a Hitler character and
Hey.
it killed. No, I'm blanking on her name, but she's like the.
Oh, it's that.
Hitler character?
No,
yeah, I don't know.
Trump wouldn't shake your hand or something.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the real person.
Why am I forgetting her name?
Helen. No.
Ellen DeGeneres, the
That's it,
Prime
yeah.
Minister of
Charge
Germany.
of Germany.
Something with an M.
It's
Hey, let us know in the
Merkel?
comment section. Merkel, yeah.
Merkel?
It is
That's
Merkel.
Meghan Merkel. That's
Meghan Marbles.
Okay.
Anyway, someone did her character, and she was just like a very like timid Chancellor of Germany or whatever she does, and it killed. Like the audience died. And there's so many like every time I feel like I hear an idea for something, I'm just like for like a new comedy show, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But when I see it live, it's complete like historical roast. You're like, okay, that sounds kind of like I don't know if it's boring or funny. We'll see. And then you're like, oh, this can be really fucking funny.
It sounds like
Yeah.
why didn't it happen sooner? It sounds
Yeah,
like
that's
something-
what that sounds like to me.
We've gotten a few people like comedians come up to us like, that's a really good idea for a show. Really fucking good idea.
That's how it
for a
goes.
show.
You know you have a good idea if they don't say, dude, nice job. They say, nice job.
That's Dane Cook talking to.
Okay.
He's on a comeback. Am I right?
Yeah,
Dane Cook?
he's back. I don't know if it's
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't call it. Yeah, he's a don't call it.
He's on the podcast again.
He's doing our podcast next, or
Yeah, I think so, right?
We'll see.
Yeah, I saw him in the hallway.
Yeah, we pushed him, man.
That's why I was first.
We bumped
He
him.
lives out there.
Yeah, I just saw him on he was just on Kill Tony. Do you guys watch Kill Tony?
I've seen it live a few times, and it's
I'm
hilarious.
familiar with it.
So Jeremiah and Tony and Jeremiah have both been on a lot of our historical roasts. And it's just great because like Tony's fucking sharp as fuck with his roast. Jeremiah's really good at these characters. He actually have you seen it recently, Tony? Kill Tony?
Wait, who's Jeremiah?
Jeremiah Watkins. Sorry, Jeremiah Watkins.
Not
The
familiar.
Plug.
you're a co-producer, right?
No, sorry. These are just
He said
comedians.
one of the roasters, right?
He's one of the roasters.
One of the
He's been
roasters.
one of the roasters in a lot of our
Do you have the
shows.
same roasters every time, or is it change?
They change it every time. We do have people back, but every roast is different than the last.
What's the vision for the show?
It's kind of like the Chappelle Show, only updated and.
Yeah.
Okay.
So many people-
Chappelle's coming on too?
So many times I've told people like, so it's historical roast, so we roast historical figures, and there's all these, it's comedians dressed as these historical figures, and they're roasting each other. And they're like, oh, it's drunk history.
Yeah.
What? No one's drunk. They're not retelling
Yeah.
the story.
You said history. You said history.
I heard history,
Yeah.
and then I heard a buzzing
I'm
sound.
drunk.
And comedians? That's So, but is the plan like, okay, so you shot a season already, like Netflix already okayed everything essentially. Like, do you wait to see how it does before they give you a season 2? How does that whole process work?
Yeah, and I have another friend who has a Netflix show, and he just got a season 2.
Oh, exclusive club. This guy's.
Yeah, it's
What's the show?
so his name's Justin Willman, and it's called Magic for Humans. And I definitely check it out. It's very funny. It's actually, I don't know if
Magic
you saw
show?
it's a
Like
For
carbon,
kind
of
carbon
man-
arrow effect type of
it's
thing?
it's a mix of man on
I've seen the
street.
clip. I've seen that one clip.
So there's
Right?
Oh yeah, that one.
Is it the one where they put a blanket over?
Exactly, I've
So
seen
it
it.
became
I
a
have seen it,
viral.
dude.
It became like a viral sensation for a while, where you put a sheet over. No, do you put you put a sheet over someone's head, and you say 1, 2, 3, abracadabra, whatever. You pull it off. I'm pretty sure there's a sheet involved. I haven't seen it in a while. But then everyone pretends like they can't see that person.
Oh, it's like the
and the
box
person
thing.
freaks
Oh,
out, and
okay.
they prepared like a picture. Just go check it out. It's so much funny
It's
because I saw it
hilarious.
on Netflix. I saw that, and then I saw all the viral hits.
And the
so
joke
watch
is on
the
the
original.
person. The joke is on the person.
The joke.
They think they're
Yeah.
invisible essentially.
Yes, I
Okay.
saw one. Usually it's to kids, and that's cruel. But I saw one that
Yeah.
was done to a grandmother, and she just started whacking the fuck out of her kids. Like, I'm here, you can see me. You can't ignore that.
She lived through 2 world wars. I think
Yeah.
that
That's
she
right.
knows.
Don't pretend grandma's
She
invincible.
died in the moment.
Invisible.
I don't know. All right.
Okay. Leave grandma out of this, man. Anyway, so
But he said he just got season 2, and they
You have to
didn't-
wait
They
to
didn't
see
know
it.
for a while. Yeah, so it came
Right.
out, and then they waited a while.
but it sounds like it's going to be a hit. I'm just saying.
I mean, let's
feels like
have
it's
our
gonna-
fingers crossed.
Right?
That'd be amazing. It's definitely one of the best shows I've been a part of.
All right.
But how is a stand-up and sketch comedy different? Like, is there because
Yeah.
isn't
Oh, yeah.
can't Is the culture that we're living in today stifling comedy in any of those formats? Like, because people have to watch what they say.
Yeah, I think a lot. Yeah, that's kind of hard because it's very new. This whole like kind of PC culture. Honestly, it's a mix. It feels like there's several different divisions of kinds of audience you can get, and as long as you're doing, like, Jeff is not really offensive. Jeff Ross is like just fucking funny. And you can't be offensive. You can't be offended if it's just fucking funny.
But you sometimes, to try and be funny, you have to risk being offensive, right?
And you can definitely risk it. And there's some of the sharpest comedians risk it and still just like you could say Anthony Jeselnik,
Patrice
or
O'Neill used to.
Patrice O'Neill. Like that is a driving force behind pushing the envelope. Like he really just like. And sometimes you'd see those videos of him doing stand-up, and you'd see like one or two people like, I'm offended. And then like 10 minutes later, they're laughing their ass off because he continues on. He doesn't exclude anything necessarily or anyone necessarily.
Tosh tried to continue on too.
Daniel Tosh.
In that one incident where he said, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we all raped this chick?
There's some comedians who just, they have their moments where like they just
they're Kramer moments.
Well, that's a whole different. that's like not even a moment. That's more of a letting a monster out of you that you've been holding back.
Yeah, and he.
Well, that was kind of like pre like that cell phone time where like not everyone had like a phone. Like if you look at the footage, it's like so like kind of shitty, and it's like you know what I mean.
Yeah, that was, and yeah,
it was like the very verge of like this thing kind of starting to come out.
Cell phones have been good and bad for comedians. Hannibal Buress was filmed on a cell phone when he talked about Cosby,
right?
Now he's like the leader of the.
Well,
he's like, I just was talking about, but everyone knew.
I think that was a wash though, because Hannibal Buress got famous, but Bill Cosby got famous.
Yeah, that's right. Not for all comedians.
It doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah,
that was a wash.
But so is anything off limits, or if it's funny, that's what stands?
I don't want to, this could be out there forever. So kids, if you're watching, don't say the F word. And to you guys, I say, no, I really don't think, as long as you go about it in a smart and the right way, and there is definitely a right way of going about certain things. Because with Historical Roast, we've heard every kind of joke, and we've heard some go badly with the audience. And maybe it's not seen in the right light. But for a lot, we've heard pretty much every subject be received great by the audience loves a lot of like the jokes that you would maybe be like, oh, that's offensive. Like if you go to Roast Battle or Kill Tony, you might be like, oh, this is offensive, but then you just like realize the environment, like, oh, they're not being mean, this isn't like, and then you realize like that's a fucking good joke. It's just me who's like, maybe I should be. This is a good time to be offended.
Yeah. Right.
But like a lot, then also with that, I should say, there are a lot of comedians who just don't know how to do that. I've been to a lot of open mics where they just say the most offensive shit just because they want to get they want to be
shock
like that
value.
Comedian who does the thing and
but
makes people.
Sometimes I would think that they would. They're trying, but they're just not. Their brain isn't tuned in enough. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right too. I think actually Patrice O'Neill said, what did he say? He said only it should horrify. Half the audience should be horrified and half the audience should be laughing. And it's in a way that's right. Like, yeah, you don't really need to be like baby to the whole audience, because if you're a fair, smart comedian, you can figure out a way to get everyone on your side.
Louis C.K. used to be a master of that until he asked girls to jerk off, and now we can't.
Hey, that was off stage.
Yeah.
He's still a master.
Yeah, now he only talks about Parkland school shooters on stage.
That's right.
Or
Feelings
the kids or the victims.
Feelings about Louis?
I never met the guy.
All right.
I did.
There you go, Louis. So
no, I mean, yeah, that was fucking awful. Him, like around that time, I was like, yeah, we should, have a little bit of a cleansing.
He was the hottest he's ever been around that time. He was.
He was.
Yeah,
he was huge.
He was going to host that like night of Too Many Stars with all these comedians. He was the host with comedians like Kevin Hart, and then a week later they kicked him off.
Yeah.
Whatevs. What's the next question?
All right, we were hoping not many people know this. Our audience does, but the outside world, we have a sketch channel called Humor Endorphins on YouTube, where we make sketches, and sometimes we find it hard.
We do?
To it's hard to think out an idea, flush it out. So we were hoping we could do a little exercise where Aaron and Johnny would do a little sketch right here, And then
we're doing a sketch?
whether it fails or does great, as a guy who's now executive producing a
Like,
Netflix
if this
show.
was a sketch on your show, give us some notes. Right?
Yeah, how would you improve?
How would you make
Oh,
this
God.
good? But we haven't planned anything out, so we need a.
So you
I've
give.
planned
Let me
zero.
group call the writers real quick.
Okay.
I need some help with this. All right.
If you would give just a basic topic or concept,
So this is a sketch. We haven't thought of it yet. We're gonna.
well, he's going to give the topic.
Yeah, you give us the beats right now or whatever. But and we're just gonna try it out, and you tell us what we need to improve to get it on.
Disaster waiting to happen.
So help us, Austin.
So if you have a setting, yell out
Oh,
a
it's setting.
setting,
The Titanic.
and yell out an activity.
I've heard of it.
Baseball.
So you can choose.
Are we just going?
And action.
Well,
Rose, let me on the door. I want to survive too.
pretty cool.
What do you mean? Rose, let me on the door. I wanna survive too.
Well, I
Just
don't-
move over.
I don't know if we're ready for that because the whole thing is that like
I kissed you. We made love.
I know, but I got to manage this baseball team. All right, if the team doesn't get to where it's got to go, then we're not gonna make it.
But we made love.
I know,
Didn't
but
that mean anything to you?
just because you grab my balls, it doesn't mean anything.
No.
My baseballs.
Oh, yeah.
I need those for the team.
You grabbed my balls, the baseballs. Can we get another scenario?
And cut.
That was horrible.
Okay, so that was, and I'm not exaggerating,
so confused.
a perfect sketch.
Oh my god.
Beginning to end,
Yeah.
I followed it through. I was like, is this baseball coach gonna let
I was so
Leonardo
lost.
DiCaprio on the
I think we just
door?
got picked up, dude.
Definitely not. Whoa.
Listen, that was, I don't know, it didn't happen in the sketch, but it was a home run.
Hey.
As a,
Should have used
You
that
see
in the
what I did?
sketch.
But
Shoulda used
let's,
that
let's
in
be
the-
real, because we hope to get our sketch channel picked up by Netflix tomorrow. So if you have a
they are taking meetings, yeah.
so if you have one note, like one thing they could improve on.
One note,
everything.
I would have liked it to end with Aaron gargling from trying to not drown, and then just slowly drowns away, and then just hear like a home run, and then cut.
Okay.
That would have been funny.
That would have
Genius.
been good.
Genius.
Genius.
Can you play that sound effect?
Which one?
I think applaud.
Yeah, that's good.
The gargle sound effect.
Oh, the gargling. we have to record
Which
that one.
version of the gargle? We got a long one.
We got a
No,
couple
I
of
think
them in there.
I actually do sketch comedy. I love that I can still hear them. I actually do. I'm on a sketch comedy show. We've been We've been doing it for about 3.5 years now, and we're called The Burbs. And we've done like every show's a different theme.
Short
So we-
form or long form?
We do. It's a long form sketch show, or it's a long form. You're talking about improv, right?
Oh yeah,
Like short form.
it's different, I guess.
Yeah, well, it was sketch. We do an hour, and we've done every kind of theme from like sci-fi to western to we did like Spring Break World instead of Westworld, and we had one of our friends who's on Westworld come and be on the show. And
Anthony
then-
Hopkins.
Yeah, Anthony was really cool. He's a big fan of The Burbs.
Love it.
No, our friend and former director Ptolemy Slocum.
Who's he play on Westworld?
He plays. It's the redheaded technician. I feel like it's Felix, or like Garfield or something like that.
I actually only seen the pilot episode.
I've
so
seen
I
them
don't know.
all.
He's the redhead technician. He's the one that's kind of like he's got a beard and he's kind of like scared a lot.
He's not the robot.
He's in all. He's like
he
in
does
all.
he does a lot of comedy stuff.
He's been doing comedy stuff for a long time.
Actually, wait. I know you're talking about, but I know him
Yes.
from like he was on the Pete Holmes show, right? Wasn't he?
Oh, you're thinking Matt McCarthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
He is not on Westworld, but Matt McCarthy is on.
That's what I'm thinking
the
of.
show.
Because I looked up a lot of those clips and I was like, oh, I know that.
Matt
guy.
McCarthy's another guy we've been having on Historical Roast for years, and he's just like he's great because he does like these great characters.
Really talented.
Very talented, and I still haven't told him to his face, so maybe he'll watch this somehow.
But you're fired.
He's fired. No, we don't pay him. I saw him on the Pete Holmes show before I met him in person and had him on the show.
Nice.
So like now I'm like friends with the guy, and it's just so crazy for me because I'm like I'm a fan of yours.
Oh, super fan.
So yeah, it's such a bizarre world that I can like now like all these people I'm a fan, and also like Joe DeRosa and Beth Stelling were on Pete Holmes' show, and I was like fans before I met them, and now they've done our roast, and it's just like a really surreal feeling.
Damn.
Makes you feel like you're in like a weird dream.
Yeah.
But he's very Matt McCarthy's very talented too. Yeah,
he should be bigger. He is. He's
this
funny
one
guy.
time it was the only roast that he's like, I don't know if I can make it that day, but I still want to be in it. And it was Neil Armstrong's roast, and he was playing Kubrick. And he's like, I'm just gonna send in a video. This is actually on YouTube. And so he sent in a video of him as Stanley Kubrick, and it's just like a super close up to his to his face,
Artsy.
And he's like, I know you know I've made these films, but I've also made, and he just starts pulling every I am a monster today. He pulls every DVD that he owns, like shows it to the camera. It's one of the most ridiculous movies, and there's like super dramatic music playing in the background.
Classic
Nice.
Kubrick.
Yeah, you know how Kubrick likes to sit in front of the camera and show the DVD copies of his movies.
Dude, of course.
And is he on the Netflix show?
He
He didn't make the cut.
Season 2.
he did. It's I don't know if I can say much about that.
Oh, you got to watch.
I don't know if I can say
asking
that. Yeah.
Brian May. What? Okay.
And then we have one last question, and let me just find it here. Okay, yeah. What comedy show / film do you think doesn't get enough credit?
A comedy film or show.
Our audience is messed up, man. But if you'll indulge them.
So that is a wide.
That was from a small child.
So I guess a current one.
What is comedy?
So not a cult classic.
Like Jack and Jill. Adam Sandler's Jack and Jill probably doesn't get enough.
Very classic film.
You know what? One comes to mind, and I'm sure you've heard this too, because it feels like our demographic. It's Hot Rod.
Oh, I love that movie.
And
It's a great movie.
it's because it came out, and now it's kind of I think it's becoming a cult classic. But when it came out, like I don't know,
Wait, what's that about?
Andy Samberg.
Andy Samberg.
Oh,
he
yeah.
wants to be a stuntman,
You-
and his dying dad
Cool beans.
is like he wants to beat him up before his dying dad dies, or his stepdad dies.
Yeah.
He just wants to beat him because he hates him so much. So he
got Bill
earns
Hader.
money to make him healthy again.
Right.
Basically.
Instead, they fight at the end, right?
Then well, no spoilers.
Yeah.
You should go see
Haven't
it.
seen the
But
movie
yes,
yet.
they do beat the fuck out of each other. That's not only has some of the best now biggest comedians in it.
Bill Hader.
Yeah, I feel like everyone who's in it has an HBO show now.
Yeah.
Danny McBride,
Yeah.
Bill Hader.
That was the way to do it then.
Portlandia guy.
And that's another example of people starting out in sketch comedy and then becoming SNL actors and movie stars.
Also, Good Neighborhood stuff, right? Good Neighborhood people. The Kyle
Oh,
Mooney's.
Good Neighbor.
Kyle Mooney's thing?
Mooney and the other guy.
Beck
Oh
Bennett.
yeah.
Am I the only?
There was this awkward,
I love this.
There was
What's
this
the
long,
sketch?
awkward pause.
What's
of,
the
like-
sketch where the three of them are all in a kitchen and they're about to take a shot,
Oh, yeah.
and they do this long
Toast.
routine?
It's Toast.
Toast.
I just watched
That's another good one. Yeah, they're really good. I mean, Workaholics started on YouTube. There's so many.
Insecure started on YouTube.
Did
Was that a YouTube?
It was
It
called
was-
Awkward
Oh yeah,
Black
you're
Girl.
right. It was something.
but it
else.
wasn't. I don't know if it's a sketch, but it started on YouTube.
It started as a sketch.
We'll have to get Issa Rae on and ask her about
It
it.
started as a web series, buddy.
That's fine.
That's different.
That's fine. That's great. It's fantastic.
Dude, I'm sorry you had to come.
To anyone listening, we are ripping bong hits and also holding knives, so it's very tense right now.
It's also really hot.
We're gonna
in
put
here.
him down.
I'm sweating. I'm sweating right now.
Do
Oh
a little
man.
Yeah.
buttoning.
I wore the thermal. This guy wore the flannel.
Yeah,
for,
I don't know why I did. It was cold outside. Well, chilly. It's LA.
It's 90
That
degrees
happens. You got any more questions or no?
We don't.
I had a quick question actually. So we had a comedian buddy last week came on, and he was kind of talking about how nowadays, if you're a comedian, it's like you got to kind of do everything now. It's like you got to try to do the YouTube thing, the podcast thing, or something to kind of get it going.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about how sketch comedy and stand up are kind of, I don't know, going away from each other a little bit. But wouldn't you kind of say that they're kind of like now mixed together?
Not really gone away from each other. They're not going away from each other. They're just going different routes. I think you got like Key and Peele,
Right.
and you got Key and Peele kind of doing their different, that's kind of like a cool format of
Theirs is
sketch.
pretty cinematic sometimes what they do.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
some-
So they kind of heightened everything
Yeah.
and turned it into something else. Stand-up's also doing that, but also it's becoming more of they're adding all these things. Like I have some friends who do like a musical stand-up show, and they just have like this one guy, Avery Pearson, actually has a show at the Improv, and these comedians come on, and then they have prepared a song together. So he plays the piano and sings with them, and he brings like these comedians, like Joe DeRosa was on it, Jeremiah Watkins been on it, and it's just cool what else you can do with, and stand-up comedians are down for stuff like. We didn't know stand-up comedians would dress up as historical figures and then spend like 2 hours on Wikipedia, like looking up, like they write their own jokes. The show has become
Obviously, right? Shouldn't they?
Well, there's a
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a writer's room.
We've had a few people ask, like, "Are you writing our jokes?" And we're like, "No, you gotta do that."
It's your voice, buddy.
Right.
Do you write jokes?
I write jokes
For the show?
Yes. So Eddie and I write our own jokes, not as characters, but we recently started dressing up, which.
So now you're playing some of the characters?
We don't play the character. We do dress up though. So we dressed up as like Confederate. We dressed up as policemen for the Ted Bundy roast we just did.
Okay, and you said you were
So-
Confederate soldiers, right?
And we were in for the Netflix show, for the show we actually did Civil War roast recently at the Comedy Store too, and we were Union and Confederate soldier, so we could kind of roast each other,
Nice.
but be ourselves. We're not necessarily like blah blah this guy that lived like at this time or whatever. We were just playing ourselves dressed up as soldiers.
Do you have any roast jokes in your back pocket you haven't been able to use yet that maybe you can just work
Indulge
out?
I
your own.
honestly, I don't even know if I'm allowed to use the ones I like pitched in the room that
That's
didn't
all
make
right.
the final cut.
Show comes out by the time this airs.
I will say go on YouTube. I'll say that. Go on YouTube and
Is that the setup
go to YouTube because YouTube sucks.
of your joke?
No, YouTube has a lot of like our past roasts, and we're gonna be putting up more once the show comes out of like our past shows at like Nerd Melt, Dynasty Typewriter, and I can think of a.
Let's
We're doing a roast battle, me and Eddie, my co-host, on the 14th, and I have a lot of jokes about him, and I wanted.
Are we invited?
At the store? Is
You're
that-
absolutely invited. It's at the
invited?
store. It's
Oh, dude,
Oh,
we'll come.
sweet.
We'll come.
yes. So I'll say come to that, and also go on YouTube for roast jokes.
Okay.
Let's think of a. Do you have a?
We're out of questions.
I was going to bring something up, but if you want to
Bring
say
it up,
something.
dude. Someone's dumb.
Okay.
Johnny suspected.
Yeah, no, okay. All right, whatever. Anyway, so you're big into roasts. Actually, before you got here, we had a really long conversation about this. There was a lot of hesitation, but I think it's the
could it
right
be?
time to do this. Austin really wanted you to roast him right now.
Which one's Austin? No.
And we got him. Zing.
Hey, just so you know, I'm a good sport. I can take it.
Did you ever go on roast me on Reddit?
I can tell which twin works out more already.
Which one?
I was roasting Austin. You want me to roast you too?
So he's saying I work out more.
I was saying you work out more, but you're also wearing a flannel, so I can't see your arms.
Hard to
They
tell.
could be two pencils on each side sewn together.
There you go.
I like that you have originality because you have a very different haircut than your brothers. Yours is shitty.
Oh, this is a feel good roast.
I like how you just said yours was shitty. That's great.
I'm gonna get out of here.
Oh, no. And then we
everything
always
you
end a
wanted.
roast with something nice. So thank you very much for being you're the one that contacted me, and the one brave enough to become my friend on Facebook to contact me.
I want to thank Noemi for hooking us up.
Noemi, yeah, Noemi.
Your former fling?
No,
Not
Noemi is a friend.
She said you guys went to college together, right?
we did go
Is
to
that-
college together.
And
yeah.
we read between the lines, but
Yes. Only tension. No. She's a great friend. I
And
met her
Noemi's the
actually
best.
out. I actually met her out here through after semester in LA. Like semester in LA people, once you're out here, you just start meeting each other. Like, oh, you did that too, and now you're still out here. So she's really cool.
really cool. We'd love to have her on the podcast sometime too.
Come on, Noemi.
She got bumped for Ryan Pigg today, but
Oh, I am so sorry. She's regretting
Hey.
She's regretting it now. Do you
right.
guys want to roast me? You want to try?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say let's roast a historical figure just off the cuff, but let's roast you.
Yeah. Oh, we can roast a historical figure off the cuff.
Which one?
I don't know. Pick one.
this is improv.
They're not here to defend themselves.
Hitler is too obvious, right?
I mean, come on.
Come on, dude.
Do we need to
Seriously,
really roast
off
them?
limits?
Wow, Hitler has
Why
been
would you
through
roast?
enough.
Yes.
Man. No, let's
We've
not-
actually, some of the best roasts are the ones you don't expect. Like we did Helen Keller, and you don't expect her to have like a good roast. Like you're like, what kind of roast is gonna be? It's the best time. Those are the best. We've done them twice. We've done 2 Helen Kellers, but we've had Helen Keller on like I think 3 or 4 times now.
Who plays Helen Keller?
We've had everyone from the Puderval sisters. We've had Lindsay Adams. And the thing about it, and I'm a big old school comedy, and I like those duos. So we have Annie Sullivan up there with Helen Keller they kind of do like a back and forth thing. I think on our 3-year anniversary, we had Helen Keller and Annie Sullivan, and that video's up on YouTube too. But there's just like a back and forth. The first time we did it, it ended up Annie Sullivan was like waterboarding Helen Keller with a water bottle.
Wow.
And Helen Keller was like listing. She's like, I've been prolific. Like people say I'm this, people say I'm that. Annie Sullivan's like, by proxy, so have I. I'm a stickler for I love the whole like back and forth between like a duo thing. I think that's why we have a duo host for the show.
And that's why we have 3.
Yep.
What duos from the old school do you like?
I really
Helen
like
Keller and Helen Keller's helper.
But I mean comedy.
Cousin?
Yeah,
Helen
comedy.
Keller's
the
cousin?
Wright brothers.
Hilarious.
I mean Dean Martin and Dean Martin and that other asshole. No, I love Laurel and Hardy. I love.
Did you see the movie?
Abbott and Costello. I have not seen it yet. It was actually.
It was a great movie.
It
You don't
came
really
out right
like
around the time, or it came out a little bit after we had finished Historical Roast, and I wanted to see it with my co-host, but I saw a trailer of them fighting, and I'm like, that looks too real. So
It was a great movie.
I really want to see it.
Yeah, it's good. It's kind of dark.
It seems dark from the trailer.
Inspiring though at the end.
Good.
Kind of.
Well, you know.
Did you really? That's what you thought?
Well,
it was.
It left me thinking like, all right, yeah, maybe I'll keep going.
This was the whole thing, and I'll just
You know?
spoiler alert. So the whole thing.
Dude, he's gonna watch it soon.
No, I don't. I know what happens in real life. So. It's like, don't ruin Passion of the Christ for us.
Yeah.
What were their names? What were the first names?
Yeah, what's
Stan
the
and
movie called?
Ollie.
Stan
Yes.
and Ollie.
So Stan and Ollie. The whole thing is, what's the fat one's name though? The John C. Reilly one.
Ollie?
Yeah, Ollie.
Stan?
So
I don't
Ollie's.
know.
Never mind. Whatever.
Ryan, appreciate you being on today.
Thanks, guys.
You made it all the way through, so
Yeah.
we're going to plugs.
Yeah.
Plugs.
Where do we find you?
Okay, you can find me at Ryan.
No, go on.
And that was great. Let's move on.
Dane Cook, get in here. You can find me at Ryan Pigg everywhere except for Instagram because it's only Ryan Pigg with 1 G. Some asshole
Was taken. They took.
some asshole took it.
How dare you?
And then didn't post
Good
any
sir.
pictures.
Don't you hate that? It's like, dude, you're not
It's
even
like,
using
what-
it, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey, for $1,000, you can get that.
There you go.
Someone was like, it's too much work.
And his is verified, but yours is not.
Yeah, what the fuck? And then follow Historical Roast and at Fictional Roast and at Burbs Sketch or at Burbs Comedy, something like that.
Is there a YouTube we can catch you at some of the stuff at? Or
That is the YouTube.
that is the YouTube.
all
The
the
Burbs?
so
It's all the Burbs.
so the Burbs Sketch Comedy is a YouTube, has a YouTube page. Fictional Roast, Historical Roast, and then if you just type in Ryan Pigg comedy and then scroll down through all of the box opening videos of this kid named Ryan. Every time he opens like a pig toy from a box, like that just pops up in my whenever you type in my name.
You as a tyke? A little kid?
It's not me as a kid. It is a guy who I think he just got a second. It's like a 5-year-old kid. Him and his 2 parents just got a second season on Nickelodeon for opening boxes.
Dude, you do subscribe to this guy.
Meanwhile, I'm hustling out here trying to get my name on YouTube.
Man.
Dude, open a box.
I guess I gotta open a box every once in a while.
Unboxing with historical figures.
Unboxing. Is it?
That would be cool.
That's got potential.
That'd be
It's
pretty
Benjamin
funny.
Franklin's arm, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, we dug it up.
That'd be sweet.
I should do
Washington.
that.
Yeah.
It's weed.
Yeah. Ben
Submit it.
Franklin is like a cell phone? What is this?
Submit it to the Writers Guild.
Hey.
Hitler. It's like it's a. No.
Hey,
It's some of his
It's like
art.
Hitler, but it's funny.
Dude, Hitler, I hardly know her.
Yeah, that'd be a good one for the roast.
All right. So we like to.
Appreciate that, man. You liked it.
We like
That's
to
an ending
finish
note.
up our podcast by just asking the guest to just recite their favorite long form poem. So, guys, we'll leave you with this.
It was the dark of the night, and I was forbidden from going downstairs. But what? But what? The apple replied. I said, no, it's too late. And I took some more shrooms, and I slit my throat, and I died like I was on Game of Thrones.
Wow.
Very sexual.
Love it.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in. See you guys on the next one. Thanks for coming, man.
Hey, thanks guys.
Appreciate
This was
it.
a lot of fun. I like the idea.